Hey y'all, it's been a minute. I know we are long overdue for a catch up. First of all, if you're new here and you haven't seen my journey moving to Ghana video, definitely check that out before watching this because you're gonna be confused. But yeah, anyways, I've been a little overwhelmed, a lot of thinking, a lot of preparing and getting in the mindset like, okay, I'm a salon owner now. What do I want my salon to look like? What is training gonna look like? What are all the things that I need? It's just so much, and trying to figure out what are the initial things that I want to start off with? What are the initial products that I want to start off with? What can I source locally? What are some things that I need to be shipping from the US? What are some things I need to be shipping from China? It's a lot. So that's why I've been gone for a few weeks, and also just enjoying life and not feeling like I have to pick up a camera for every moment. But I have been vlogging. I've been vlogging a little here and there, so I should have a vlog coming out after this. And also busy with Azari. So December is pretty busy. A lot of people are coming into town, or people have people that are coming into town to take orders out for them. So I've been working on custom orders, which I'm really excited about. I just made a custom piece for this author. Her name is Jessica Carmichael. She just came out with a book and it's called The Full Picture, and it's about a girl that falls in love during Dirty December. So I'm really excited to read that because first of all, I love reading Ghanaian stories in general, and I love love. So I know that's going to be an exciting one. But anyways, I made a custom piece for her that matches her book, and this is something that she's going to be wearing to one of her book events, and that's just one of the custom orders that I've done recently. So when it comes to occasions and special like bridal things like that, I can do the customs, but for just regular everyday, I'm trying to steer away from those because when I'm buying the fabric, I have a minimum quantity that I can buy, and then I use the fabric for the outfit, and then I end up with fabric that I'm not going to use, which is kind of a loss. So yeah, I'm definitely going to keep Azari ready to wear, and then the customs can be for like special occasions, or I'll still do a custom if it's not going to come at a loss. Like if you're using fabric that I already have, or if I have to buy like little things that's not going to cost too much, or I'm not going to have fabric that's going to go to waste. So today I'm in a Roosh Boo Boo. Let me show you guys. This is super comfy, and this is for like quick lunch, errands, getting your hair done, something that you're doing where you want to be comfortable. One thing that I noticed here in Ghana is that people don't go out in sweats and biker shorts and things like that, because that's what I used to do in New York. If I know I'm going to do something real quick, or I'm going to do something where I don't really have to put in much effort, sweats, leggings, biker shorts. But out here, people are like dressed up, especially like out in the city. So I definitely recommend that you check out Azari and get you a few pieces if you're trying to be on the go and you don't want to put in too much thought into your outfit. Okay. All right, now let's talk about the salon. Let's talk about my baby. Okay, so Azari's my baby too, but the salon, this is like my passion project. All right, so let's get into how I even acquired the space. So back in 2023, when I had came to Ghana, and I was going around with Rush inquiring about different spaces, and I was getting a lot of no's. Not even a lot, I was getting all no's. Reason being, either there's a salon already at the premises, like in the store, the building, or space not available, space not ready, things like that. And so kind of just put that at the back of my mind, like, you know what, I'm just gonna trust God's timing. Ghana is literally a developing country. There are different construction sites coming up every single day. I just thought like there is no way that I'm not gonna find a space eventually. And one of the places that we had inquired about was a cheesy pizza that was in an uncompleted building, meaning like the top level of the building was not done. It still looked like a construction site basically. So the bottom part, the store, I would say it's about 6 stores altogether, like a 6-store unit. So the top was divided into 3, so that's supposed to be 3 stores. It wasn't done, but you can tell, like, by the way it was divided, that was supposed to be 3 stores. And then the bottom was also supposed to be 3 stores, but Cheesy Pizza ended up taking the whole thing. So the deal that Cheesy Pizza had went into with the owner was that they were going to finish the top level for them if they allow them to take the bottom at a discount, whatever, right? So Rush noticed that the top level was empty. So he went to go inquire to see if I can use that space for my salon. And I can't remember if we were trying to take one space or all three or what it was. I don't remember, but all I know was it was pretty expensive, like very expensive, to the point where it wasn't worth it. And now we know why. At that time, we didn't know that they had went into this deal with the owner that they're supposed to finish the top, whatever. We didn't know that. So now we know why it was so expensive, because ultimately we were going to end up finishing it for them, which means that they would have done what they were supposed to do technically, right? So we ended up not taking that deal. 2 years later, Rush notices that Cheesy Pizza is no longer there, and he's always paying attention to construction and what's going on and things like that. He noticed that Cheesy Pizza is no longer there. So come to find out that he knows the owner, and I'm talking about the owner of the building. He knows the owner's brother. So he asked him to connect him to his brother and inquire about the space. And that's how I got the space. And it's so crazy because even before Cheesy Pizza came back into our minds, we met this lady who was building 2 stores. That's what I'm saying. Ghana's developing rapidly, okay? Developing 2 stores. I think they're about like 5 minutes apart. One is smaller, one was bigger. So I was looking at the bigger one, talking to her about it, you know, showing interest. And so we were telling her, like, we're interested, you know, we can put down some money. And she refused to take money. This is why I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. That's why when things don't go my way, like, you know, I might have my little attitude or whatever, but at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what, I was not supposed to have that, I was not supposed to do that, I was not supposed to be there. That's how I get through life. She refused to take the money from us, okay? And her reason was she don't want to feel rushed, you know, she doesn't want to take the money and things are not complete. And then I also understand she probably doesn't know how long it's going to take, how much it's going to end up costing her, because the dollar rate is constantly going up and down, it's unreliable. So she didn't want to take any down payment, right? And I believe we started inquiring about this space in 2024. And they're moving, they're building, but it's at, you know, a slower pace. And I kept telling myself, you know, this is where I'm supposed to be. Maybe I'm not supposed to be there yet, you know, maybe not this year. And then especially with me getting pregnant and going to New York to have the baby and everything, I was like, yeah, see, I was definitely not supposed to be locked into that space yet. But now it just feels like, you know, she didn't take the money because I was not supposed to be there. And so it all worked out. So yeah, that's basically how I got the space, and it's a much bigger space than what I like initially wanted, because, you know, I wanted to start off small, start off humble, like, you know, I'm just gonna have like 3 or 4 chairs and, you know, do my thing and perfect it before I jump into something bigger, because the salon is supposed to be at La Vie, which is the building that Rush is building at the car wash, which is going to be filled with stores. So that's where my salon is really like supposed to be. And we were just looking for something temporary. So I was not looking for anything extravagant, but I ended up with this big space. Construction is going really well, as well as it can. It's construction. Let me tell you something. If you are planning on building, you need to have a lot of patience and understanding, because with construction, there's so many moving parts that it's so easy for a mistake to happen. And this is not even something that's unique to Ghana. It's everywhere. When it comes to construction, you just need to know that there are things that will happen that may be out of your control, or maybe it was like a silly mistake or whatever. You know, as long as it's fixable, it's fine. You're gonna lose money, okay? You're gonna end up spending more than you had to, whatever. It's gonna happen. For example, people had came out to lay out the wirings for the salon space. So where I'm gonna have my hair station, I needed electricity like in the middle of the floor, basically, because it's a salon. It's not like, you know, a house where outlets are on the wall. You have to bring some connection like in the middle, on the sides, things like that. So they had the wiring laid out, they shot it up, and then Rush had his welder come in to do the little metal thing for me to pull down to, like, you know, lock the place up. And he was trying to tell me maybe I shouldn't do it because it's not pleasing aesthetically, and oh, it should be fine, like it's across the street from the police station. And I was like, listen, I don't care if this space was in the middle of a military camp. Like, you can't put nothing past nobody. You need to be as secure as possible. And I'm actually glad I did that, and I'll tell you why later. Where was I? Oh yes, so the welder had his people come in to do the gate after the people had already laid out the wiring, and they ended up they needed a big space to put this whole like gate rolly thingy together, and then they ended up moving the wiring. They like moved it all around, and it's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? So then when people came in to do the screening, they don't know how the wiring is supposed to look, so they went ahead and laid everything down, and then everything was buried under the screening. So that was a little annoying. We were able to fix it, but I was worried because I'm like, is it safe to like cut through, you know, there are wires under, is it safe? Like, are they gonna get electrocuted? Like, I don't know much about construction. In the moment it seemed like a big deal because I'm like, how are we gonna get the wires back from under all this screening? But thankfully it was still soft enough to even just like pull it out. So it wasn't that much of a big deal. It was just like really annoying, like, why would you do that? But I would say most of the major works has been done, and we started in October. Yeah, we started in October because we had to tear everything down, like take, because Cheesy Pizza had, you know, like their staff room and their kitchen, and they had old tiles there that we had to remove, so we tore everything down. So I'm just gonna show you guys clips of how it started off and where we're at now. It's looking so good already, and we haven't even like started the finishing touches, but I see the vision. Alright, so this is how it looked originally. This is Cheesy Pizza's setup, and there's a kitchen in the back. So this is what the kitchen looked like, and as you can see, it was like a separate space. So yeah, we tore this down. This is the ceiling. I could not wait to get rid of this. This is the bathroom, and it's functional, but I wanted something that feels a lot nicer. I love a nice bathroom. So we removed everything, the doors, the tiles, the sink. And this is what the space is looking like. Well, this is what it did look like, and this is what it looks like now. I also removed the design from the tiles, not the tiles, the columns, because I wanted a smoother, sleeker, more modern look. And as you can see, the ceiling is done. This video looks a little crazy, but bear with me. The ceiling is done, and the like doorways are done. This is a more recent video. Do you see how the tiling alone made the place like really come together, along with more plastering, and the shelves are done. I was trying to be fancy and plant some flowers outside of the salon. This was actually Rush's idea, but we were quickly reminded that we're not in a city. So we found out that some sneaky goats was coming to eat up all the plants at night. So like I said, this is a much bigger space than what I anticipated. But I do want to maximize it as much as possible. So the services that I want to start off with is services that I'm familiar with. I don't want to add in anything that I don't know anything about, because someone might come in learning that trade, but you don't know if they learned from an apprenticeship or they like actually went to school and got educated. Like, you as an owner, as a boss, as a madam, whatever you want to call it, you need to be very knowledgeable in the topic to make sure that things are being done the way they're supposed to be done. Because there has been multiple times where I've experienced workers doing things that they're like not supposed to do. And I know people are going to be coming at me like, oh, Claire, you should do this, you should add that, you should be doing this, you should be doing. And it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot. I do appreciate hearing what services people need or what people would like to see, but definitely gonna take it slow and adding things as I see fit. So one thing that I'm gonna have for sure is braids. Like, that's the obvious. Definitely gonna have bundles for traditional sew-ins, closure sew-ins, and wigs. And when it comes to the wigs, I noticed that a lot of people aren't like really educated on how to maintain a wig or how to try to make it look as realistic as possible. And it's just simple things that you can do to make your wig look a lot better than you know, it looking like it's just like sitting on top of your head. Like, it's really simple things that you can do. And then nails and pedicures and facials. So that's what I'm gonna start off with. And I definitely want to add other things like eyebrows, whether it's the tint or the ombre, and just like different treatments for hair. So I actually studied cosmetology in high school. I went to a vocational high school. I ended up not finishing and switching my major into paralegal. Listen, I was a young teenager that didn't really know what I want, but I found my way back to hair. We learned a lot about straight hair, and I'm like, okay, this information is useful, but it's not helpful to me or anyone I know. And I would much rather know how to take care of my hair as well, because us like natural hair girly, we did not start getting education until the YouTube era, when there was a natural hair community and people were like recommending products and like different techniques and stuff. And even then it was still like, okay, but I don't even know what type of hair I really have, so I don't even know if I can use what she's using. You know what I mean? Like, it's always been like a trial and error thing. And now natural hair school is a thing. My sister is a licensed esthetician, so she has been teaching me so much about skin and like the different treatments, and that's why I'm like regularly doing my facial. So now she's teaching me about the different skin types and different skin problems and conditions and different ingredients that targets those. It's a lot, but I'm loving it, because when it comes to anything beauty, like, I'm all for it. Another reason why I feel like this is an even better time to open my salon is because now I feel like I have an idea of how to maneuver in Ghana. Of course, I'm always learning new things, but now I feel like I definitely have a much better idea of how to operate a business, especially when you're gonna have workers. Because like I said, there are people that learn the trade through an apprenticeship. Maybe because they needed money to, you know, maybe they just wanted to get a quick job or have some kind of trade so that, you know, they can eat. That's all it is. And there are people that this is like a true passion for them. Like, they genuinely enjoy what they're doing. And there's a huge difference between the two, and you can see it, because one, there's no passion there. They don't care about nothing. They will hop from salon to salon. Like, they don't care about nothing. And then there's the other side where they're going to give you their loyalty, and, you know, they're going to care about your business because it is the business that's paying them. They're going to care about the customers, and they're going to put their best foot forward. And I know you've heard plenty by now that workers can really ruin your business. I'm trying not to like not even think in that mindset. Like, I'm trying not to even be in that mindset, and just know that I'm going to hire to the best of my ability, and then just like slowly start weeding them out. Because I feel like it's a thing here where they're like, well, you're not paying me a livable wage, so not only am I not gonna do the bare minimum, but I'm actually going to mess up your business. Because in the States, that's a thing, you know, like, oh, I'm not getting paid enough for this. I'm not getting paid enough for this. So people will do the bare minimum. But there's a difference between doing the bare minimum and going out of your way to ruin the business, which is crazy to me, because this is the business that's paying you. Here's what people with that mindset don't realize. This is how, like, however you are working, this is how you're presenting yourself. And you never know who you're coming in contact with. You never know who can get you out of your situation, who can help you, like, with anything, who can look at you and say, you know what, this is such a wonderful person. Like, I want to help this person. And if this is the type of work ethic that you're practicing, what makes you think that you're like gonna get any better, or what makes you think that you'll be able to level up in a space where you're getting paid more if you're not acting accordingly? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't like that mindset. And listen, I can understand not wanting to go out of your way to do certain things. I mean, you shouldn't have to if you're not getting paid for it. But like, you know, being rude to customers, being nasty, not wanting to do your job, things like that is what really like takes it overboard. That's why I try to give Ghanaian businesses a lot of grace, because I know there's so many different factors that can go into it not running as smoothly as you want to. And also, I think we need to give Black businesses much more grace in general, because we like happily hand our wallets over to these big corporations, these big brands, when they disrespect us in our face all the time. And then when it comes to Black brands, the smallest thing they do is like, oh, you're canceled. And don't get me wrong, like, you know, use your discretion. If it was something like personal where it's like, no, I really can't support you. But if it's something where like the workers making things a little bit difficult, try to have a little grace, okay? For example, I went to go pick up my baby shower dress from this wonderful designer. He told me that the dress was done and ready for pickup. So I went to the store, and his associate was like sitting down chilling on the phone. I'm like, hey, I'm here to pick up my baby shower dress. She's like, no, we don't have a baby shower dress. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure you do. Like, and I got it, but I had to call him to then talk to her to get it for me. But it's like, girl, you think a random stranger would just walk into the store and be like, hey, I'm here to pick up my baby shower dress? Like, you don't think like, oh, let me check to see what she's talking about, even if, you know. And the dress was sitting right next to her in the bag. It was sitting right next to her in the bag. But even if it wasn't, if someone walks into the store, you're a sales associate, right? You know, I'm not sure her position. I assume you're working for this man. Someone comes in, a potential customer, or a already customer in this case, and they're asking for something. A simple no is not gonna cut it. Try to figure out what the person is talking about. So that's something that I definitely want to prioritize. I would say for the most part, when I go to salons in Ghana, I have had good customer service. Some were great, some were, you know, just good. And I've had an experience where I could clearly tell, clear as day, that those braiders did not want to be there. It was all in their face, it was in their energy, and to the point where like I did not feel comfortable being in a chair. And they were actually complaining in tree, probably assuming that I didn't understand, but they were complaining in tree. So yeah, those are all things that I'm taking note of. You know, I want to make sure that my workers are providing good customer service and happy to do so, while also not experiencing burnout, because I know for a fact that hairstyling, it's a lot on the body, and it can definitely cause burnout. Like, I've experienced it myself, and I don't want miserable workers, and I don't want my clients to experience miserable workers. I am fully aware that this seems to be a business that's like overly saturated in Ghana, but I think what people don't realize is that most of these salons, like not even most of these, most things are centered in Accra. Everything is Accra. And like people like me who live in greater Accra, we have to travel to Accra for a lot of things. So yeah, I just feel like self-care should be more accessible on the outskirts of Accra, because we don't want to go to Accra all the time. Okay, you know, you can walk inside and you're going to be taken care of. Because I will say that the standards here are a little different from the standards in the city. I also noticed that there's not a lot of education on natural hair or even permed hair. So as much as I've had like good experiences at salons, I've never felt like, wow, like they really know how to detangle and blow dry my afro. Like that hasn't been the case. I've learned to have patience with that, and I just educate, like, hey, can you part my hair into 4? Can you start detangling from the tips and then work your way to the roots? Like, you gotta have patience, because you gotta understand that we were always taught that our afros are no good. Perm your hair, straighten your hair, run a hot comb through it, like just get it straight. So there's not a lot of education on natural hair, especially here in Ghana, where a lot of people are still perming their hair. So people are used to like bone straight hair, but you really got to take your time with curls and coils. And my hair is not even like super dense, so I can only imagine the natural girlies with super thick hair. And I have been doing hair for a while. I have, you know, experience with a lot of different textures, especially like super dense, full, kinky afros. And it's not hard to blow dry. Like, I promise, it's not hard at all. All you gotta do is work in sections and take your time. You gotta have patience. So training is definitely gonna be my #1 priority, because it's not just about how well can you do the hair, but how well can you prepare the person's hair and take care of their hair before installing any style. Because they still have hair. Like after taking out the install, whatever they have, wig, braids, whatever, they still have hair that they have to like take care of or wear. Like, you know, of course we like to switch up our hair and wear extensions or whatnot, but it doesn't mean that people don't love their hair and don't want to wear their hair and, you know, want to be bald headed and have no edges and bald spots. Don't get me wrong, there are other factors that can contribute to damaging hair, whether that's environmental, whether that's internal. That's why when you sit in a stylist chair, that should not be another thing to worry about too. By the way, I just realized I never told you guys the name of the salon. So it's called Pretti Palace. And I came up with that name because I knew that eventually I'm gonna want to expand into other things in the beauty industry. So I wanted something that wouldn't feel too much like just hair. So I'm glad that I went with Pretti Palace, and I actually registered that a few years ago, so that like was already set in stone. And I also wanted something with a name that I can play off of. Like, okay, what am I gonna call my clients? Are they princesses? Are they queens? Can't forget about my kings. And then also be able to play off of the theme. I definitely did not want like a castle themed salon, but just different things. Like, I'm already thinking about a tea party, like a princess tea party, but not like a European princess, like an African princess, an African queen. I'm thinking about photo shoots with the boo-boo, so it could even be like Azari meets Pretti Palace with the whole tea party thing going on. Like, I have so many ideas that I want to execute. In a world where content is everything, like you have to be bursting with ideas all the time. So yeah, I'm super excited. I've also been like way more active on TikTok, so even if I'm not posting my longer vlogs on YouTube, I'm posting many vlogs on TikToks throughout the week. So definitely check out my personal TikTok. Check out Azari Apparel on Instagram and TikTok. Check out Pretti Palace. I haven't been posting there because like it's under construction. There's nothing to post, but I will start posting updates there. So follow Pretti Palace on TikTok and Instagram. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for all your love and support. Even though I haven't been active on YouTube, you guys are still reaching out via DMs and email, and I appreciate you guys so much. But yeah, stay tuned for more updates. I will see you guys in the next video.